village. In a few minutes' time we'll be starting our bag loading demonstrations and the bag sewing. So if you'd all like to gather over here, it's a really good demonstration. And happy Easter, everybody.
6 months and he come back to pick it up and it was still in the same place, and because he had a buddy Barney with him. Yeah.
Well, we're getting pretty close. Continued on. And look what's happened. Now we've got 7 different types of bag loaders. So it is one of the heritage skills. Lumping bags of wheat might have been hard yakka, but it is a skill that's been lost, the same as bag sewing. And we're trying to revive all these skills here at Pioneer Village. The original one. It was made for a 4 bushel bag. This is what we call a 3 bushel bag. If that was full of wheat, it would weigh about 180 pounds. A 4 bushel bag would weigh about 240 pounds. Very, very heavy. Of course, today we're down to 20 kgs or 40 pounds. We're getting weaker, aren't we? But these loaders were made to lift the bags of grain straight off the wheat thrasher onto a wagon. And the way it's done, and if I could just get Barry might just show us how it's done. It's a very simple mechanism. You just wind it up. It lifts the bag vertically up to wagon height. Bit of a slow process, and then just throw it across onto the wagon. So that is our first. Yes, please, Barry.
I wouldn't be hitting with a bag of weight like that. Going in right with us.
No, neither would I. Now these were used, as I said, straight off the threshing machines that were going from farm to farm from about 1840 onwards. The threshing contractors would go from farm to farm with their steam traction engine, a thrasher like you see over in the paddock, an elevator, and they'd thrash one load's grain and then move on to the next property. Now, after that one, they sort of developed this type of loader. This is what we call a kick horse loader. It's operated by a draft horse, made by HV Mackay Sunshine, and the idea is that the horse walks forward, say 3 paces, lifts the bag up, and then steps backward 3 paces to lower the loader back down for the next bag. Now I'll just give you a bit of a demonstration of how it's done. I just give that a bit of a pull, and that's how it's worked. Now with the normal type of harness that was commonly in use for ploughing, and I'll get Michael just to come out here and we'll show you. This is a normal type of plough harness, just with a back band and a set of trace chains that go down here to a swingle bar. That piece of timber with hooks on it is called a swingle bar or a swingle tree. Now, just go forward, Michael. The horse pulls forward a few paces, and then when he steps backwards, you can see what's going to happen. He steps over the swingle bar. So, a very clever person. Thank you, Michael, for that. A very clever person invented this type of harness, which is called a kick horse harness. It's a bit like a spider harness, except that it has this steel hoop around the back that stays suspended on the horse. So the horse can walk off now they also found out that these were very useful to use in an orchard. Instead of that wooden swivel bar down here, so we're going plowing up an orchard between the trees, the wooden swivel bar would knock the bark off the trees and it would either kill them or they'd take a long time to recover. So they found that this pick-horse harness is very useful for that as well. Okay, bag on the loader. Young Douglas, we'll get him going. 3 steps forward now. Just got a whisper in his ear to get him going. Up goes the bag and onto Ian's shoulder. 3 steps back. And down. You can imagine people, if that bag was filled with wheat, it's not, it's filled with sawdust because of workplace health and safety. But those, you've got to take your hats off to those wheat lumpers, and I can see one of them in the crowd over there. They've lumped, up to 1,000 bags a day and stacked them as well. Is an old bag trolley or bag barrow. You can see it's made of timber, just with a few iron parts on the bottom. And they were used for wheeling the bags around, probably in the barn or on the back of the truck body. Made it very, very easy. Or even over to the loader if you were on hard ground. If you can fill the bag up really tight, you can get fairly short ears. And there's different ways of doing it. Some people sew from left to right, some go from right to left. There's all different techniques. And I'm going to ask Barry here to show us his technique.
Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, last night we were discussing bag sewing, and George, who is our resident bag sewer, and he starts the bag off in a normal fashion. He puts the bag through the bag like so, and then he'd come up and thread the needle through, bring it down and tighten it up. Well, then I was silly enough last night to make the comment that I saw a bag sewer one time, and as you know, bag sewers, they were paid by so many 100 bags. It was £2.10 and 100 bags. By gosh, you're going well there. And his idea was that he threaded the string over his hand like this, and he just picked the needle up and brought it straight down. And that in 100 bags or 400 or 500 bags in a day would make very much quicker. So I landed the short straw of having to sew the bag today. So there we are, we just loop over form the ear, and then away we go. And George, I probably do it different to you. We haven't got the palm here, Ray.
We'll soon get it, Barry.
You will, huh? Now, of course, all the farmers, they wanted the bags filled as much as they could possibly get in it, so you just put some grain in there and you force it up like so, and away you went. Now, and then of course there were some farmers, and they used a bag filler, which meant that you could get even more in the bag. And about the only person that liked a bag filler was the farmer, because in the end of the couple of thousand bags he might have saved 3 or 4 bags in a whole heap. But the bag finished up round, and when it went up the elevator onto the truck, it usually burst. So George, come here, you better show the people how we put this. You want to do a bit more, do you? Couple more. How about that? That do you? Righto, now it puts that in there. Puts the grain in the filler, just like a funnel, and then lifts and forces coarse as it is.
Give her a bit more.
And there's the palm that they used. They usually put a penny in here and push the needle through as they went through. You haven't finished yet? No. George Rickett, ladies and gentlemen, the farmer's friend. Righto, away we go. We finish off the bag now. As I say, it mightn't be as neat as what George does it, but it'll be okay.
I'm not interrupting Barry, but Phil was just telling me that those arms were actually used in the shipyards for repairing the sails for the sailing ship.
Oh yeah?
So there you go.
There you are.
And it's fitted to about 1952 Chef truck. Originally it would have been on a much earlier truck, of course, probably a Model T Ford or a Model A Ford or an early Chef. And it doesn't lift it to shoulder height, it only lifts it to body height. And I can tell you, as Barry found out last year, it's a real finger pincher. It's very easy to grab the wrong part there and lose a finger.
Tell me about it.
And there we go.
He's got the right idea.
Now we haven't worked out yet why they would go from a kick horse loader, which is worked by a horse, puts it on your shoulder, to one of these things, but that's the way it was. And there we go. Thank you, Doug. And it's a 1938 Chef truck. It's a bit of a wild machine. You don't want to get any part of your anatomy caught in it. You can see the way Doug takes that on his shoulder. That's the correct way of doing it. That's a pretty steep rise for that elevator. Sometimes the bags even topple over on you. And there we go.
I'll come in and see what you're up to.
Well, you can see what I'm doing. All about his field days at Yangan. Okay, we're going another few years to the hydraulic age. This is what we call a G-wheel. See how it works? The weight of the bag will push down on that leather strap, open a valve, and up she will come. A big step up from the kick horse loader and the elevator. These G-wheel loaders were very, very popular. Just about every farmer in Australia would have owned one in the bagging days before we went to bulk. You can see it's a bit faster, a bit easier for the lumper. It's driven with a little 3 horsepower Moffat Virtue engine, and in this case we're going from truck to truck. Now Doug's going to really try Ian out here. He's got those bags nearly touching each other. They're only going up slowly, but once they start coming, you've got to keep moving. Barry just reminded me, if you notice people, the front axle and wheels and hubcaps under that are often 9 inch and I'm sure there'll be a lot of big cars here. I'd love to get my hands on that. We're back in motion again. We'll have to do a bit of trucks 2 years in a row. Okay, what we're doing here now, people, is something different again. This is another G-wheel hydraulic loader. It's the one they call a knee action loader. And what it does is take the bag up, keeps it vertical, takes it across, and just stands it up on the edge of the truck. Now the idea, of course, is that you can put an open bag on there without having to sew it up. And of course, if you were taking grain straight out of the grader, ready to put on your truck to go down the paddock and plant it, what's the point in sewing them up and then cutting the stitches again? But over the period of time, different little knickknacks were invented to put across the top of the bag just to make sure that it stayed closed and didn't spill any of your precious grain. Now, we'll get in to show you. Phil is going to show us this one here is just like a meat skewer. You just weave it through the seam of the bag, and you would have, you know, a few of those on hand. You just put that on the loader. That holds the bag closed. You don't want to get skewered with that, by the way. Lifts the bag up vertically, and now you can take it off the truck, stand it up on the truck, ready to get straight into the line for planting. Down she comes again. Now the next idea that they came up with, if you weren't using those bags straight away, if you just wanted to temporarily tie them up a little bit, these ones were made by Napier Brothers, again, Napier Brothers of Dalby. And you just slide those over the seam of the bag, pull it through. Probably easier with a new bag rather than a second-hand one. It's a little bit floppy. There we go, it slides on pretty easily. When these first arrived here in Pioneer Village, we didn't know what they were. So it took a while to work them out. There we go, we put the bag on the loader. She lifts her up vertically, as neat as you like. Again, young doggy takes it off. Now we've got another one here that Phil is going to show us. And this one, Phil's just holding that up so you can see it. Again, it's like a meat skewer, but it has an eye on the end of the needle to put a bit of baler twine through. And that is so that if you don't want to use the bag straight away, if you want to tie it up temporarily, you just thread it through, and we'll get Phil to show you. You go over the seam this time, over and under. See the way he's doing that? Over and under. Take it through the other end, get a bit of baler twine, or binder twine I should say. Phil tells me that binder twine works much better than baler twine. Pull it through, get rid of the needle, and just tie her up. So we're an inventive lot, aren't we? Over the years, all sorts of things were made to make life a little bit easier. Back onto the loader. Before people had orders, again, it's a G-wheel hydraulic loader. Put the bag on. You can see see those little prongs there? That's what holds the empty bag on. And some more prongs in the bottom here that slide through. And just see those prongs there that slide through? They're supposed to slide through the ear of the bag. And up we go. Now that bag is not sewn, doesn't have any skewer in the top. And push it out, there's the right. Comes down again, returns the empty bag to the bloke on the ground to fill it up again. So that was before augers were invented. That's how we went from bag to bolt. We put another one on. This one just needs a little bit of adjustment. That's the end of this demonstration, people. Thank you very much.